Registering for our virtual open house. I'm Nancy Sharts-Hopko. I'm a professor in the College of Nursing at Villanova University and director of the PhD program. And with me is Dr. Tammy Kerr. She entered the doctoral program in 2006 and she defended her dissertation in 2009. Villanova University is a Catholic university that was founded by priests who are members of the Order of St. Augustine in 1842. The College of Nursing was established in 1953. We recently celebrated our 60th anniversary with a conference and a celebration. And in 2008, we were very fortunate to move into our beautiful new facilities, Driscoll Hall. Some of the slides that you see will predate that move, but others will depict the setting that we are in now. The focus of this doctoral program, which does offer a PhD degree, is the preparation of nurse educators. The deans who are members of the American Association of Colleges of Nursing realized in about 2000 that because of the emphasis on advanced practice nursing and graduate education, there was a shortage of people prepared at the doctoral level with skills and research expertise in the area of nursing education. And so it was a perfect time for us to move our proposal forward for the beginning of this program. The coursework is focused on both preparation for the role of educator and preparation for people to conduct research. When we think about who should apply to this program, anybody with a master's in nursing is eligible for consideration, but it should be people who anticipate that they will teach in a college of nursing upon graduation. Tammy, what was the appeal for this program for you?
The appeal really focused around the curriculum for this program. I was a nurse faculty member at another institution, not at Villanova at the time, and I wanted to obtain my PhD. I wanted the research focus that a PhD provided, and Villanova seemed to have all of the aspects of a program. I wanted a program that could be flexible in the fact that I would not have to be on campus every single week for class because I was holding a full-time job. I was a mother of 2 young children and the wife of a husband who traveled from time to time. So I needed that ability to hold all of those pieces of my life together but move forward. And Villanova's program had all of those pieces. During the fall and spring months, I was able to do my courses synchronously online, and then my summer intensive on campus where I could be face-to-face with my professors.
And we will talk more about the way the program is delivered in a moment. Most of the applicants to the program have master's degrees in nursing. Many are advanced practice nurses. A few have studied nursing education at the master's level. All are welcome to apply. In addition, we are open to highly qualified bachelor's holding nurses applying for admission into the PhD program with the understanding that they would complete MSN program requirements along the way to completion of the PhD. But so far, the vast majority of applicants have been master's prepared. The types of dissertations completed thus far are available for you to view on the program website. Because we focus on nursing education, I encourage students to think about research questions that address teaching and learning issues, whether they are clinically situated and the learners are patients or family members or staff, or whether they are situated in schools of nursing and students are interested in better strategies, more effective outcomes in academic education. But the list of dissertations is available for your review. So far, the graduates are overwhelmingly working in schools of nursing all over the country. 3 people are in educational roles outside of schools of nursing. One is the program director for one of our national nursing organizations. One is a leader in a health system, and one is engaged in educating nurses in a health system for addressing the needs of elders out in the community after they leave the hospital. So they are in educational roles, but not in an academic setting. However, the vast majority of our graduates are teaching, and several of them have succeeded in earning tenure in their positions. So Tammy, what are you doing now, and how did the program prepare you for your work?
So I have continued upon graduation in a faculty role. I was not on a tenure track prior to graduation, although I was in a faculty role. And so I've since accepted and have been working for the last 2.5 years here at Villanova, and I am on a tenure track, which is what I desired. If I was going to work so hard to obtain my PhD, then I knew that I wanted to align myself with the tenure track. The program prepared me in a number of different ways. Prior to going into academia, I spent 13 years working as a clinical nurse specialist. And although one of the 5 roles of a clinical nurse specialist is education, my preparation in the area of education at the academic level certainly was lacking. The program provided me with the content that I needed to be able to develop or be involved in curriculum development, in measurement and evaluation, which is absolutely essential for the role of a faculty member, in creative teaching strategies. And we looked at a number, particularly my dissertation, I looked at various types of teaching strategies and the impact upon the student. So each of the courses really helped round out that role that I was currently in, and immediately I was able to apply the coursework to my current setting of employment.
Great. A moment ago, Tammy alluded to the way that the program is delivered, so I'd like to spend a little bit of time talking about that. The program is delivered 80% online in synchronous, web-mediated seminars on Tuesday and Wednesday evenings, Eastern USA time. Because it's 80% online in the fall and spring, all online, we have students that represent 16 states, 1 territory, and 3 countries to date. In the summer, students come on campus for a summer intensive. They come 3 summers, and it's 2 or 3 weeks each time that they come. It always begins the day after Memorial Day in the United States, which is late May. One applicant who sent in a question had asked about this, so that the summer intensive always begins in late May, the day after Memorial Day. In the first summer, the new class begins with orientation and their first course. So another question that one of you sent in was, does the program begin in the fall semester? The answer is that it begins with the first summer intensive. So students who are admitted to the program will come for 2 weeks, the day after Memorial Day, and they will have their first 3-credit course, and they will also have orientation to the technology, the faculty, the facilities, the library, how to access materials online. There's housing available on campus for those who choose to stay with us, although it is not required. Some people have friends or relatives in the area, and some people are local. Because it's a distance program, it's important that you look at the technology requirements that are posted on the website. I did also want to note that while we have synchronous online seminars in the fall and spring, most of the time we archive them so that students are able to go back and review. I understand that that is particularly popular in the statistics course. So Tammy, how did you find the university's support in terms of the technology that the program uses?
Villanova has a large IT department, and the services that they provide are quite comprehensive. As previously stated, I entered the program in 2006, so here we are 2013, and certainly technology has certainly advanced in the last 7 years. If a student or even a faculty member experienced technology in relationship to the synchronous learning courses, immediately the IT department was available for our consultation, and if it was an IT problem in the synchronous learning environment, there was always a follow-up email the next morning that would come through to us. I know throughout the years a number of individuals have said to me, oh, I would be afraid of going to Villanova because of the technology requirements, and I don't believe I could have found a more supportive environment that can lend itself to providing those things that you need so that you're comfortable with the technology. Also, I would say during that first summer and during that 1 week that you're on campus, you're provided hands-on orientation. You go right to the computer lab, you go or use your own computer, and you start working with that computer right here so that you're gaining experience when you have those supports surrounding you. So that when you pack that computer up, your own computer, and take it home and hop into your first synchronous course, you will have the skills that you need.
Great. I have been extraordinarily impressed by the responsiveness of our technology support, and we do have people both inside the College of Nursing for technology support as well as people in the university unit for technology support. They're available by email and by telephone call, and they're very rapid in response. I did want to note, since we've talked about distance learning, that for our international students, there's also an option for them to attend classes on campus and be with the faculty live. Many ministries of health do not yet authorize students to attend online programs, and we can accommodate that. Having said that, the focus of the program really is to address the needs mostly of the online students. So the international students may find themselves sitting in a very small group with the faculty member as they talk with their classmates who are dispersed around the United States. Tammy, how did you find the experience of accessing faculty when you were in the program?
It was very simple to access the faculty. We had the ability to do that through all of the modern ways of communication. We could access them via email. We could access them obviously via the telephone. We could ask to stay online after a synchronous course and discuss any concerns that we have. We also have the summer intensive time during which we can set up meetings with the faculty. We can set up meetings basically at any time with the faculty. So it was very easy to access the faculty, and they were most receptive in getting back to us in a timely manner to address any topics or concerns that we have. And that could be an individual, couple of individuals, or even the entire class.
One of the issues that the faculty were concerned about when we were designing the program was how the students would interact with one another. So I'm interested in hearing you talk about how the cohorts bond and how they become a cohesive group.
So the cohorts really become an important part of your learning experience. I really didn't know much about the formation of cohorts and cohorts for learning prior to coming into this program, but it was pretty evident even after the first week, that very first year, that we were going to be a tight group of individuals that would be there supporting each other throughout this adventure that we were about to embark upon. Your family can support you, your friends can support you, but unless they've been through this type of program, you really need someone who's living that experience with you to go through the journey with you. And you start to understand the topics that your cohort members are interested in. You start to look out for research or conferences that are related to those areas of concern. And when you finish the program, because you've taken this journey together, even though you might not finish at the same time, not only do you understand your content, but you understand a lot about those topics that the members in your cohort are researching as well. So it was an integral part of the success. And sometimes you just need that person to cheer you on or give you that word of encouragement, and then you move forward.
One of the things that I've noticed is that students within a cohort who have similar interests often share resources with one another, but you also meet the students in the cohort one or two groups ahead of you and one or two groups behind you, and sometimes cross-pollination occurs in those directions as well. The other thing that has really amazed me, because this was an experiment when we started it. We were relatively early with an online doctoral program, but I've noticed times when students would be instant messaging each other and communicating on Facebook, and honestly, having attended a live program many decades back, they have far more contact with each other than I could even imagine. It's a wonderful thing. I'll talk a little bit about the coursework. So as I said earlier, the coursework is divided between role preparation for the educator role and development of the student's research skills. The total credit requirement is 51 credits, and it's divided out so that 18 credits focus on the nurse educator role. 6 credits are what I call general education. There's a healthcare trends course that is sort of policy-oriented, and there's a social justice course which is ethics-oriented. And then the other 27 credits of the program are all focused on the student's research skill development. We start early in the first fall. If you look at the program sequence that's provided on the program website, in the very first fall, we start students in proposal development, dissertation seminar 1. And they will go through 3 more of those seminars by the time they finish. They will also have 2 research methods courses, the philosophy of science course and the concept course, all of which are focused on developing their research idea, finding their theory, defining their major concepts, finding the relevant research, starting to build the proposal. So by the time students finish the 3rd summer intensive, it's very possible for them to have a fairly well-formed proposal in hand. So I believe that, and I've been told by graduates that that's the strength of this program. The other 2 courses that I didn't mention are the statistics courses, and they're not specifically focused on the student's own research, although there's certainly an opportunity for students to have consultation from the statistics professor. Tammy, how did students find faculty to work with on their research projects?
I think one of the advantages we have here at Villanova is the College of Nursing faculty have a wide variety of research interests and areas of expertise. So you would really have to search pretty deeply to not find someone who would not be able to work with you and support your research. Again, I think one of the strong points of the program I'd like to echo again is from that very first summer, every project, every paper that you work on is going towards that final work that you're going to be producing, whether it's the proposal and ultimately that final dissertation. And so again, because of the wealth of experience that the faculty here have, then we have those individuals immediately available to us. How do we determine who we work with on our dissertation? One of the things you can do is through the courses, you get to know your faculty very well. Again, you're not going to have the same faculty member teaching every course. You're going to have a variety of faculty members, and sometimes even possibly more than one faculty member in some way involved in a course. You can interview faculty and members. And again, just that exposure through the courses really gives you the information you need.
The committee structure that we use here at Villanova is a 2-person committee. So there's a chair, and students are oriented to which faculty members are eligible to serve as chairs, and then there's a second committee member. So the student will have the list of who is chair eligible, and they will determine based on their topic of interest or their methodology who they would like to work with. Once they recruit their chair, then the 2 of them, the student and the chair, can determine who should be, who would make a great second member based, again, on content or methodology. So students have an opportunity in the very first orientation summer session to meet a number of doctoral faculty, and as Tammy said, they will meet additional ones in courses as they go. In addition to the chair and the second committee member, there will be readers at the proposal juncture and at the final dissertation defense. And so when the student has a proposal that the committee agrees is ready to go to defense, 2 additional faculty are recruited to read the proposal and conduct an examination with the student. This is a very positive experience that's designed to have two more pairs of eyes make sure that this is the best study that it can be and that it is feasible. Those are the main considerations. We then try to ask the same two people after the student is approved to conduct the research, and they get their IRB approval and they gather their data, they write the dissertation. We invite the same two readers back whenever we can so that they have the satisfaction of seeing closure of the process, but they also know what everybody agreed to at the proposal defense. And then they will, again, read the final dissertation, conduct an examination, and celebrate with the student upon completion. So Tammy, when you were deep in the throes of coursework and then your research, how did you juggle that with your work and your family responsibilities?
So my life upon entering the program was probably not much different than the lives of each of you who are listening in. As I mentioned earlier, I had two children. They were both elementary school age. I was working a full-time position and even doing some freelance editing on the side, and had a husband who traveled from time to time. Certainly organization is one of the keys, but I think one of the other keys is I set small goals. And this, the goal is obviously the completion of this program, but there are a number of steps that you've heard about to move through. And so it was setting that one small goal, meeting that goal, and setting the next goal. Setting timelines for myself. The support of the faculty, certainly the support of the faculty here at Villanova cannot be overlooked. They're, again, available to meet with you when you have a question, when you're just not sure if you're thinking about your research in the right way. The expertise of the faculty will help lead you to that next step so that you can continue to progress along. Obviously, the cohort. We've already spoke about the importance that you come in as a cohort and you move through this program together as a cohort. And so you're going to be there to support each other, family and friends as well. But again, really going back to the structure of the program, which really builds upon itself from that very first semester, being organized, setting small goals, and relying upon the faculty and your cohort.
Thank you. One of the questions that applicants are often interested in is how students finance the program. We have been extraordinarily blessed since the program began in 2004 with Nurse Faculty Loan Program funding from the federal government. This funding is through HRSA, and it's possible for you to go into the HRSA.gov website if you'd like to read more about it. Basically, it is a non-means tested loan, and it's a simple one-page application each semester that the student completes. You're allowed to borrow up to $35,000 a year for up to 5 years, and upon completion of the program, if the student takes a full-time teaching position in any accredited school of nursing in the United States, then they can work off 85% of this total in 4 years. They repay the remaining 15% over 10 years at a 3% interest rate, which is very favorable. That funding is restricted to citizens of the United States or territories of the United States. But it has been a wonderful program, and so far, while we have some uncertainty around the federal budget, so far we are in good shape in terms of having Nurse Faculty Loan Program funding available. We have one doctoral GA-ship that is focused on assisting with faculty research. We have another PhD scholarship that is offered through the Office of the Dean. We've enjoyed some wonderful support from the Jonas Center for Jonas Scholars. This year we have 4 Jonas Scholars, and we've had 2 previously. Other sources of funding that have been wonderful for students have included National League for Nursing doctoral grants, an American Cancer Society doctoral student grant, and various small grants. So, and some students have employer support in addition. So we've had a good bit of success in that regard. Several of you sent questions asking how long it takes to get through the program. So as I mentioned, on the PhD website, you'll see a program plan, and it's laid out for full-time study or part-time study. About 2/3 of our students tend to be part-time. Some students go back and forth. Some people start part-time and move to full-time status. Some people start full-time and move to part-time status. And some people maybe will slow it down a little bit even more slowly than we have laid out on our part-time plan. But the answer to the question of how long is that the full-time program is designed to be completed with 2 years plus 1 month of coursework followed by the dissertation. And the part-time plan that we've provided is designed to be completed in 3 years plus 1 month of coursework followed by the dissertation. It's important that I say followed by the dissertation because that is entirely up to the student. Some students have completed their dissertation in 1 year after coursework. Some have taken several more years than that. It should be reasonable to plan on completing your dissertation in 1.5 to 2 years after the end of coursework. I do want to note that the application process is competitive, so I'm delighted that you're listening to this webinar and you have interest in our program, and I can't wait to see your applications. But I do always urge applicants to apply to more than one program, just to be sure that you stay on your career trajectory. We have had between 27 and 54 applicants each year since we began, and we generally admit a class of 10 or 12 students. I can talk with you about the process of application a bit. The application is on the website. It's an online application. We require that you fill out the application form online, and then other elements are uploaded into it. We need to see your nursing license or equivalent, depending on the country that you're in. We require of all applicants the graduate record exam. That was a question that was submitted for this webinar. We require all students to submit GRE scores as part of the application process. We ask for your transcripts from all of your nursing education, your curriculum vitae. There's an essay that we ask you to write, and there are instructions for what it should contain. We ask for a writing sample. This can be a term paper from prior study. It can be a publication. It could be a work-related report that you have permission to submit. We request 3 references from people who can speak to your potential as a PhD student or as a nurse educator. Each applicant will have an interview with one of the nursing faculty, generally me, the program director. All students complete a criminal background check by the time they begin classes. And an international student asked what we require of international applicants. We do require the TOEFL exam. The deadline for the exam each year is December 1 to begin the following May in the summer session. We do have on-campus open houses twice each year, once in the fall and once in the spring. And you'll see those notices. If you live near enough to come, you'll see those notices on the college website. We're happy to help you navigate the application process. It can be confusing, and sometimes documents don't upload the way you wish they would, and sometimes you've asked for digital transcripts and GRE scores, and they actually don't come digitally. We can help you with all of those things. And I also want to mention that students can stay in the application pool for 2 years without paying the application fee again. There is a fee that goes with the application process, but we welcome you to stay in the pool for 2 years. Throughout the course of study, there are several doctoral milestones. Near the conclusion of coursework, students take a qualifying exam, and that is a very normal requirement in PhD programs. There's the defense of the proposal that we mentioned before. After the proposal is approved, before data collection, students will submit their study proposal to the Villanova University IRB, as well as the IRB that pertains to any other affiliations that they have or where they will be collecting data. And then there's a final defense. The picture that you see was our very first doctoral graduate at her final defense. So it's a very exciting and nostalgic picture for us. Sometimes students seek to transfer credits from another doctoral program, and our policy is that we will accept 6 credits if they match our curricular environment. That was a question that was submitted for this evening. And we have a few minutes to address some of the additional questions that we received. One is, what happens if the student needs to go on a leave of absence? That's an easy thing for us to address. It's usually a difficult situation for the student, but we can very easily write a letter that we put in the student's file, and they are welcome to come back when their situation is alleviated. Another question is, do you have to have teaching experience before you come to this program? And the answer is absolutely not, although many of our students have had experience full-time or part-time. But it's not a prerequisite. We don't require that you have had preparation in education before you come. We're ready to prepare you. Another question is, what happens if I can't come for the summer intensive? This has happened. People move, or they get married, or they have a physical illness, or some other kind of situation. We simply withdraw them from that summer and bring them back the next summer. So they join another cohort. Sometimes students get very nervous about joining another cohort, but I can say from our experience that the cohort they join welcomes them, and the cohort they left doesn't abandon them. They maintain their connection. This brings us to the end of our webinar. We invite you to call or email. This is my contact information, and it's also available on the program website. We thank you for your interest and for your participation in this webinar, and we look forward to working with you as you consider applying for the program. Thank you.